Welcome back, the Respawn Realm gang, to another video. Firstly, the most anticipated Apex A2 release is finally being released today, and I cannot wait to fill out my Pokedex. There are lots of great cards to choose from when it comes to deck building, and like I mentioned in my previous video, some of these cards are meta breaking. Let me know if you want me to make a video on each one of these beautiful cards in the future with a complete analysis and integration to deck building. With that being said, let's jump into the topic of today's video. And as you have guessed it right, it's Darkrai EX. Before we jump into the topic, guys, let me tell you guys that we are fortunate that the Respawn Realm gang was fortunate enough to get the Darkrai EX on its first pull for the event, and I have made a YouTube short on it. Please don't forget to go check it out and let me know what you think of the card art. Now, getting back to Darkrai EX, as we can see, it has a base HP of 140 with a special ability that says whenever you attach a dark energy from your energy zone to your Darkrai, it does 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon, which is crazy given that Darkrai already fires Dark Prism, which is 80 with only 3 energy, and with that 20 additional damage, that's a whopping 100. Now the question is whether we can build a more lethal deck with this Darkrai EX than the already existing one of the Scolipede and Weezing, which is a favorite amongst pro and amateur level players. Well, my answer is yes. Now let's take a look at this deck that I'm excited to use in my future battles. This deck is designed to target the opponent's bench and keep halting their strategy. As we can see, we're going with 2 MURKROWs and 2 HONCHKROWs. These, as you know guys, are 2-stage evolutions and can be used as a good starter just in case if you don't get the Darkrai EX right away, which is a basic card. And as I've mentioned earlier guys, you can use your Darkrai EX right off the bat. As we can see with HONCHKROW, it has the ability Skill Dive that we also had an opportunity to see during the trailer, and it does 50 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon, beg your pardon, which is extremely handy. Now this 50 damage is not restricted to just your opponent's active. You can do this 50 damage to even one of his Pokemon sitting on his bench. So that is spread out all across the board, which makes HONCHKROW a very important Pokemon while designing a dark type deck that can be used in competitive plays. Next up, we're going with 2 SNEASELs and 2 WEAVILEs. This, guys, is another 2-stage evolution like MURKROW and HONCHKROW. And taking a close look at the second evolution, which is WEAVILE, we can see that it initially does 30 damage with its attack Scratching Nails. And WEAVILE, just like Darkrai, also has a base HP of 140, which makes it somewhat tanky. Now the crazy part about this card is its ability to inflict more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon if it already has any damage on it already. So this is insane in my opinion guys, as it has the potential to do 70 damage, which is nice pair up with HONCHKROW. Now talking about WEAVILE's power, let's first come into the next Pokemon we are using in this deck, which is 2 SPRITOMBs. Now a lot of you might be wondering why I went with 2 SPRITOMBs. So one of the reasons being SPRITOMB having 80 HP, which makes it somewhat tankier to stall the first couple turns and get some damage on it but not give away a point to your opponent. But then again, as we mentioned on WEAVILE, if there was already some damage done to your opponent's active Pokemon, it does 40 additional damage. So with Spiritomb, since we're going with 2 of them, if you start a Spiritomb in the active spot and at least get some damage onto it, the stage is set for Weavile to come in and finish off that play. So I believe it's a great combo right there, guys. And then of course, 2 Darkrai's, which is the showstopper here, guys, and it comes with its special ability, which is Nightmare Aura, as we talked about earlier, which allows you to do an additional damage of 20 on top of the 80 that you get with Dark Prism. So these are pretty much all the Pokemon cards that I used for the deck. And now let's focus on to the supporter and item cards that I'm using for this deck. First up, guys, 2 Professor's Research. That's a common favorite right there, and no confusion over here, as we know that we're dealing with too many evolutions, and having 2 of these Professor's Research in your deck helps you get to those Pokemons that you're wanting in the battle even faster. Next comes 2 CYRUS's. CYRUS, as we talked about in the previous video, is a better version of Sabrina, hands down. Because with Sabrina, as I mentioned, you just get an opportunity to swap or force your opponent to swap their active Pokemon with something in their bench. But with CYRUS, it's more of a forced swap where you're picking the Pokemon that you want in the active spot and pretty much finish off the Pokemon card and guarantee yourself the point. So CYRUS is very handy, and CYRUS is not just a card that I've chosen for this deck. Going down the line, I see CYRUS being played in almost every deck and becoming a favorite amongst all Pokemon TCG Pocket players. Next comes 2 Pokeball cards to pick up those extra cards. Like I mentioned, guys, you know, there are lots of evolutions going into this deck, and with more drawings from the deck, it only becomes better and easier for you to stick to the strategy that you're coming into the battle with. And followed that up is with the new item card that got launched in this recent A2 Apex sets, which is Pokemon Communication. Now the question is, why are we choosing Pokemon Communication? Well, Pokemon Communication, guys, is one of the craziest item cards, and in my opinion, one of the most useful item cards that got released. This card has the ability to bring some crazy play on the table. If you look closely at the card, it says, choose a Pokemon in your hand and replace it with a new card from the deck. This is crazy, guys, as it allows you to get rid of the Pokemon that you can't evolve with a chance to get a new Pokemon card that you might be wanting badly at the moment in the battle. In my opinion, this is way better in terms of functionality as compared to the other item cards, just like I mentioned. So there we have it, guys. The crazy Darkrai EX deck I promised you guys at the start of this video. Please let me know in the comments what you think of this deck, and don't forget to try it out in your battles. I will definitely share more battle videos using this deck in the future to see how it plays out. With that, let's conclude the video, and please do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you like Pokemon TCG Pocket content like this. Also, do not forget to turn on that post notification bell so that you are notified every time I drop a new video. Until next time, happy collecting, trainers.